Basketball fans, welcome back. So, yesterday we had the second half of the Kalahari Conference tipping off, where we saw Al Ittihad facing the Stade Malien team for the second time. Then we had the River Hoopers versus the FS Rabat game. And in this video, we'll be focusing on the Al Ittihad versus Stade Malien game, which I must say was very one-sided. This game was the most lopsided game, and all credit goes to the Ittihad side. They are showing time and time again that they are the best team in the Kalahari Conference. And with this win, they've carved off a 4-0 record, and they have already clinched a playoff spot in the BAL playoffs in South Africa. So they don't have any pressure going into even the remaining two games that they have. And the most pressure mounting is on the Stade Malien side, because right now they are 0 for 4. And also, if it's the Rabat, they lost their game against the Rivers Hoopers, and right now they are 1 for 3. And this game was quite interesting because I think it was so lopsided to the point where the only people in attendance were only 915. So this was the lowest I've seen people looking at the games. And a lot of times, when if it's the Rabat team plays, the home team always gets a lot of people tuning in. So we had 4,978 people in that FS Rabat versus River Hoopers game. I mean, just to throw it out there, I mean, the home team, even despite the losses, people still ride the home team. So Stade Malien, I don't know where they go from here. And even in the previous videos I've made, we talked about their poor performances, and they lost to the FS Rabat team in the third game that they played. And this showed me that this team is going to get out of the playoffs, is not even going to make it, and they are going to be those teams that might even go without a win. They're yet to get their first win. And full credit to the Al Ittihad side, they are legit. And this is the Kalahari Conference, and we are yet to even see the Sahara Conference, the Nile Conference. But based on what we have seen, the Al Ittihad team are looking like title contenders at this point. And given like the games that we have seen, they have shown time and time again that they can mix it up. And it will be very interesting to see how far this Al Ittihad side will make it when they get to the playoffs. So, shooting wise, Al Ittihad shot the ball pretty well. They shot 46% from the field, 66% on 2-point field goals, 33% from downtown, and 72% from the line. On 22 attempts, they made 16 at the line. So they were very good at that. They got out rebounded, but they are only 5 rebounds shy from Stade Malien. And Stade Malien, I must say, they stunk it out in this one. And shooting wise, they shot a measly 38% from the field. And the statistic that worried me a lot was the 3-point shooting. And this is the reason as to why the lead ballooned, that they were not able to get back on them points. And out of 22 shot attempts by the Stade Malien team, they only sunk 3 of them. I remember when I was watching this game, I saw the graphic at a halftime. They only had one made 3. And I knew that for a fact they're going to have a very long game. And if you can't be able to match the level of 3-point production for the Al Ittihad side in this game, there's a high likelihood that they're not going to be able to win this game. And Al Ittihad, out of 39 attempts, they made 13 of them. So that's 10 more threes than Stade Malien. Had Stade Malien been able to knock down the 3 ball, they would have been able to at least cut the deficit and be able to make the game close. But unfortunately, that was not the case. But the Al Ittihad side, when it came to assists and steals, they dominated in that stat, and both teams were tied in blocks. So the man of the hour for Al Ittihad was George King. So this guy has proven to be one of the most reliable options for this Al Ittihad side, and they are just very strong, especially when it comes to scoring. So we had a couple of players scoring double digits. So we had George King leading the charge. He had a game high 22 points for the Al Ittihad side, and the matchup was against Mahmoud Koulibaly for Stade Malien. He also had his own high of 25 points despite the loss, but it was too little too late, and we didn't have too much productivity coming from those Stade Malien players. Then we had Angok Yakdeng, he had 15 points. Then he had Ariel Metwali, he had 12 points. So this team, the Ittihad team, there is no weak spot when it comes to them because they have shown that they can be able to go ahead and beat the team twice, and they beat Stade Malien twice. So when I watched the first time they played, it was a blowout. It was a 20-point blowout, and I can even say Aliti had picked up where they left off, and there was no stopping them. In George King, he played damn near like 31 minutes. He played like three quarters. He had 22 points, 8 boards, 2 assists, and looking at his productivity, it led to this final result. When this man has a good game, you can see that the productivity is all on all cylinders. It's moving on all cylinders. And not only that, we had Ayong Yak Deng. He played 26 minutes, 15 points in there. He was 6 of 14 shooting. He had 9 boards. He led in boards. Then we had Kyle Vinales. So in the previous game, he had a very good game. But this game, he didn't have the rock like that. He played 19 minutes. He had 11 points. And he was 3 for 3 on 2-point field goals. He only made 1 3. And he only had 11 points in the game. But his productivity was still good. At least we had multiple players being able to step up. And looking at how the Al Ittihad side did it, shooting wise, especially from downtown, was the difference. And that is one thing that I was paying close attention to. So we had 13 made threes, and the 13 made threes were great. We had Majok Deng. He made two of his 3-point attempts, so he was very good at that. He had 11 points. He was very efficient because in 11 minutes he was able to get 11 points. He was 4 or 5 shooting, 4 rebounds. So he was those guys that they can be able to they can be able to get their own shot off, and his productivity there was still good, and it was more of a team effort. We only had George King going at it and breaking the 20-point scoring mark, but it was overall a team effort in there. But when it came to the Stade Malien side, everything fell off. Mahman Koulibaly was the only guy who had the rock in that game, and he only had 25 points, and he was the captain. Then Mahmoud Doumbia, he followed with 12 points, and that's just about it. There was no productivity coming from the Stade Malien side, and that's the reason as to why they lost this game. And there was no stopping the Al Ittihad's productivity. If you can't knock down the 3 ball, that's it. And I even mentioned it in previous videos, and I said the North African teams are very good at knocking down the 3 ball, and there are those teams that you have to be very careful, especially when it comes to uh, being efficient from scoring wise from beyond the arc and also inside, because they really catch on teams that score inside. So they try to make sure that you play outside. And if you can't be able to knock down the 3 ball and they hit you in the transition, they can be able to go ahead and score. And it becomes a difficult game. As the game kept pulling away, I just knew for a fact that this was going to be a blowout just set in. And I saw this blowout way at the beginning of the second half. I just saw the blowout because at some point the Al Ittihad side just decided to put these guys away, and there was no coming back, and there was no hopes that the Stade Malien team could be able to win it. So we've seen the Stade Malien team really struggle, and there's a high likelihood they're going to miss the playoffs. And honestly, if you ask me, this is one of those teams that they fell off in BAL season 3. They led in the Sahara Conference, but this team 2 years apart is far removed from the team that was there 2 years ago in BAL season 3. So with all things considered, this must be one of the most disappointing runs for the Stade Malien team. Even despite leading in boards, they still traded in assists, steals, points from turnovers, fast break points, and bench points. They didn't even have good bench productivity. They only led in second chance points, and that's it. So it was a very discouraging and disheartening performance coming from the Stade Malien side. So the Al Ittihad team are cruising well, and even if they drop a game, they have already clinched a playoff spot. And Stade Malien, they're just in limbo right now. I don't know what they can do right now. They're 0 for 4. They have lost four straight games. They only have two games left. There's no guarantee that they can be able to beat the River Hoopers. The Rivers Hoopers, they can't do that. If there are bad teams, the home team, they're gonna bring that energy. So I'm not sure. I don't want to say I'm a bearer of bad news, but it looks like they can even go off of 6 or 105 if the worst case scenario is there. But with how the things are, I must say it's very sad because in all major statistical categories, they were all taken up by the Al Ittihad side. So you had the points, total rebounds, assists, and also the player efficiency ratings taken by Al Ittihad, and it's very embarrassing for the Stade Malien team. I don't know where they go from here because in four games they have not been able to pose a threat to any team. In the first two games, there were blowouts coming from uh, the Rivers Hoopers and the Al Ittihad side. Then in the game that both teams looked level against FS Rabat, you lost that game. So right now you've matched up against Al Ittihad, and it's very difficult to be able to break through. And if this is how the Stade Malien team looks against the Al Ittihad side, what makes you think that the result will be different when you match up when the Stade Malien team matches up against the Rivers Hoopers? I don't know. I don't know where they go from here. It's very embarrassing, and it's bad. And even when you look at even the game quarterly, you'll see that the way they started, they didn't have a poor start like that because at the end of the first quarter, it's only a 5 point difference, but the lead just kept ballooning. At the end of the second in the second quarter, you see the Al Ittihad side was slowly just pulling away, and they pulled away completely when it came to the second half. And in the second half, it was just I can even say the Stade Malien team were trying to chase the game, but they couldn't. They couldn't catch up. Even with their quarter high, 23 points, the highest scoring quarter in the fourth quarter, they still couldn't be able to offset anything, and it was sad. And even when you go back and look at the tail of the tape, you'll see that even when it came to like even going to the line, the Stade Malien team were fouling a lot, and they sent the Al Ittihad side to the line. So majority of the points were generated from the free throw line and also from the threes, the conversion of the threes and also the inside shot. So their defense is just the poorest. And this Stade Malien team are more likely than not, they're going to miss out on the BAL playoffs. And when I say this, it's not even because like they had a shot, because they are down 4 games, and they only have 2 games left, and the matchups that they have, they're not as promising, and you might not think that they can be able to win these games. But anyway, it is what it is. So Al Ittihad and Rivers Hoopers are sitting pretty there at the number 1 and number 2 positions, and number 3 and number 4. Uh, More likely than not, I'm seeing the FS Rabat team taking the number 3, and if the Stade Malien team continues playing poorly like this, they're going to go ahead and finish fourth, and that's just about it. So that's a roundup of what the Stade Malien versus Al Ittihad game happened, and it is what it is. It's very poor. It was a very poor performance. I must say, this game was a snooze fest in the second half. When I was watching it live yesterday, at some point I was trying to stop myself from clicking off the game because of how many turnovers were committed, and the ball was just getting stolen from the. The ball was just leaving every single time. But anyway, it is what it is. So do drop me a comment down in the comment section down below what you think about this. I'm gonna talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out.